Let's talk about decision making. Decision making is crucial to your financial future. What you should be thinking about in making decisions is always trying to put the odds in your favor. Of course, that's not easy because odds are very difficult to predict. Let's take some examples over the next few sessions and find out how we can put the odds in our favor and how we can look at different situations so we understand how odds work and how to make better decisions. So let's start with the standard choice of decision making, which is heads versus tails. This is a standard probability that we all know. A coin flip is an even money game. It's 50-50 whether it'll be heads or tails, assuming a fair coin, of course. So we look at the probability as being 1 over 2. The chances of you succeeding is 1 out of 2 possible outcomes. That gives you a 50% chance of winning, regardless of which side you take. And so that is the probability of the event happening, or event not happening, depending on which side of the transactions you're on. So to turn probability into odds, which are different things, odds equal probability divided by 1 minus the probability. So in this case, the probability is 1 divided by 2, and 1 minus 1 divided by 2 equals a half over a half. These cancel, you get 1 to 1, or we commonly write it as 1 to 1. So the probability of player A and the probability of player B winning is 50%, but the odds are even money. To make this a fair game, player A puts up $1, player B puts up $1, and over a long period of time, you say 1,000 flips of the coin, player A is going to end up with the same amount of money as player B because the game is fair. So there's two ways to look at this. The odds are even in this game. It's an even money bet. You're putting up $1, you're winning $1. And it's a fair game because there's no edge. The edge would be a difference in the odds versus the probability. When the odds are different than the probabilities, there's an edge to one side or the other. This is crucial. You want these odds in your favor. You want to have an edge. Obviously, casinos have an edge. We're going to be talking about that. In this game, 1 to 1 or even money is the fair game with no edge. But what if we give an edge to one player? If we give an edge to one player, we create an unfair game or an edge to one side. So let's look at player A. He gets 2. Player B gets 1. 2 to 1 is the odds, the payoff, on a 50% coin flip between heads versus tails. When we look at the difference between the odds and the probabilities, we can see if there's some edge to one player or another. So in this case, player A wins $2, player B gets $1 over, say, 1,000 trials. Player A will win 500 times, and he will win $2 for $1,000. And player B will win 500 times $1, and he will win $500. So player A wants to play this game all day, and you already knew this, that if somebody gives you 2 to 1 on a 50% bet, you should play all day, play every day, never stop playing. But if you're player B and you only make 50 cents on the dollar, the odds are against you. That's where odds against you comes from. The odds are against you because the probabilities are not in your favor. It's not a fair game. The other side has an edge. So you want to bet on the side of A. You want to avoid bets on the side of B. So when you think about all the decisions you're making, what you're looking for is where's the edge? Where's the difference between the odds of the event happening and the probability that the event will happen? So the difference between odds and probabilities is a key in your decision making. You need to assess the probabilities properly and then look at the odds or the payoff. You can think of odds as the payoff or the return. So if we turn this into a phrase used in investing, the probabilities are the risk and the odds or the payoff are the rewards. So it's risk versus reward. Both matter. So in all of your decision making, start looking at the risk of the event occurring and then the rewards or the odds of the payoff. What is the payoff going to be? In this, the risk is 50-50. The payoff in the unfair game is 2-1. The payoff on the fair game is even money. If it's an even money game, you can play it all day, and at the end of the day, if you have enough trials, on average, you're going to end up even. But if you can get an unfair game where you have an edge, you want to play it all the time, and over the long haul, you will be ahead. So think about your decision making in a simple game like heads versus tails. 50-50, you could play, you could not play, doesn't matter, fair game. If somebody gives you 2-1 on a coin flip, first, you may not believe them that the coin is fair, but assuming the coin is fair and it actually is a 50-50 probability, then the odds of 2-1, you should play, if you get the 2 and they get the 1, you would play all day. So think about risk versus reward all the time when you're trying to make decisions. Don't ignore the risk. Just because it pays off 2-1 doesn't mean that it's a fair bet.